Hi everybody, thanks for joining me today on the channel where we talk about all things outdoors. And we have another diesel heater for you today. These things are ubiquitous in the outdoor industry. I love them. A lot of people use them when they camp in the shoulder seasons, fall, winter, and spring. And I've had this one for a while now. I have 2 full weeks of testing with it out in the field, so I think I'm ready to give you a really good idea of what I think about it, and maybe it's something that you should look into. It's from Sunster. It's a Toolbox style diesel heater with a 6-liter fuel tank. As I've said, I have 2 full weeks of use in it. I've used it in ADA rooms, in screen rooms, and I'm using it currently in my Teardrop trailer. So I've used it extensively. I've tested it fully. Let's get into it. The reason why I accepted this Sunster diesel heater is because it had a few features that I was really interested in trying. And these budget priced diesel heaters are getting more and more sophisticated now. They're giving more and more with them. They're becoming more and more refined. And this is no different for this Sunster unit. Very nice looking unit, nice and compact. That's one thing I really like about it. Comes with a muffler. It also comes with a heat shield for the muffler, something I haven't seen very often, and that is one of the things that I really liked about this unit. Safety is number one, so you're going to prevent more burns by having this heat shield on it. Another thing, we have this additional remote, and this is a smart remote. It joins up to the diesel heater by Bluetooth, and it does a lot of things, and we'll get into this later. But that is one of the remotes that come with the unit. There is also this remote that comes with the unit. You can do more simple things like turning on and off, changing a few values, but this remote is a little more sophisticated and it does a lot. So this is the second thing that I really wanted to try out as far as this diesel heater goes, and I have used this extensively as well. For a power source, 2 different power sources, AC and DC, of course. If you have a small battery pack, sometimes they will not start these diesel heaters up effectively. They are not able to get the glow plugs hot enough to ignite. That's where the AC adapters come in, and this one comes with an AC adapter, of course. It also comes with an extension cord for the control panel, and this is quite long. It's about 8 feet long. Where does that come into play? Well, you could remove the control panel from the top of this diesel heater, take it into your room with you, control it through this cord, and it also will give you an ability to use this as a thermostat. So having this very long extension cord for the control panel is a very good thing. It also is able to be controlled with an app. If it doesn't have an app, I'm not really that interested in using it. This Sunster app is excellent, of course, and we're going to get into all of those aspects. So this is a Toolbox style diesel heater. You can't open up the top, and if you look inside, you will be able to service this if need be. There's no room inside to store anything, but at the same time it has full access. And this is where you would add that extension cord if you wish to remove the control panel, bring it inside your room. So that's a nice feature. Just be sure you don't crimp that cord when you close the unit back up. Now up top, that's where we keep the remote. That's where the control panel is, of course. Now down here in the front, we're looking at fresh air intake. And if we spin it around, there's another fresh air intake here. And here is where we make the connections for power. Exhaust on this side, and it's really nice to see that there is a heat shield for the exhaust. Up front here is where the warm air comes out to heat up your room, and down here we have a gauge to show us how much fuel we have in the tank. Now, this is a 6-liter fuel tank, ample for overnight use, of course. That's what it looks like. Let's fire it up, and we're going to get some measurements on it according to heat and noise, things like that, things that people are very interested in. Lots of ways to run this unit. We have the app, which works very well. We have this remote here. We have the control panel, which works very well. You can run this either on fan mode only or with heat, so there are options there. And there's also this smart remote, and I'm going to be completely transparent with you guys. This was a bit of an ordeal to get hooked up and to get working properly, but once I did, it seems to be working just fine. So it gives you a few more options because you can use this as a thermostat, and it's also a built-in CO detector, which is very nice to have, very critical to have. Let's start up the unit. We'll do a little bit of testing with it. I also have an exhaust port into my Teardrop trailer, so we're going to connect this up to my Teardrop trailer after a little bit and see how that works, see how the thermostat unit works on this. So we're going to fire this up. I want to do a few tests. One of them is to time how long it takes from the moment I turn it on till it's blowing a little bit of heat out of the port there. We're going to check for temperature. We're also going to check for decibels, see how loud this unit is. I have to say I have no problems with the noise level of this unit. It ticks a very little bit when it starts up. That goes away very quickly. You're not going to be bothered with ticking inside your tent or inside your RV. These things are very quiet. So let's start it up.
Start heating.
And I'm going to start the timer. There we go. And we'll see how long it takes to start blowing a little bit of heat out of this unit. At about 1 minute 15 second mark, you can hear the fuel pump starting to tick a little bit. And it's trying to ignite, not quite there yet. You can hear the blower ramping up a little bit. Still timing how long it takes to get some heat blowing here. Okay, at 2 minutes 33 seconds, with my hand placed in front, I can start to feel some heat. So less than 3 minutes to start blowing heat. That is not bad at all. So let's do a little bit of testing on the Sunster diesel heater. We want to get some sound and some heat measurements. Right now we're running on level 1 on the heating element. So at the moment, the core or the body inside of this unit looks like we're at about 275. Yeah, it's fluctuating between 270, 285. That's the unit inside. And now let's get a decibel reading from, let's say, 2 feet away. Maybe you can see this. We're at about 50 decibels at about 2 feet away on level 1. So let's ramp this up. We're going to go all the way up to level 10. As high as it goes. We're going to let it come up to temperature. We're going to let the blower get up to full volume, full speed, and we'll take the same 2 measurements. Here we are on level 10. Certainly is louder, but that is on maximum. I usually have it running on maybe 5 if I'm in a screened in room, or if it's inside my little Teardrop trailer, I'm only running this thing on 1. But let's get a temperature measurement on how hot it is now on 10. First, we'll start with the heat exchanger body inside. About 375 to 380 degrees. It's fluctuating a little bit. I'm going to take another measurement here in this plastic lip. That'll give us an idea of how hot the air temperature is. looking at about 122 degrees according to this little plastic lip here. Probably gives a pretty good idea of the air temperature as well. So let's see how loud this is now. At about 2 feet away, we're still pretty low. We're in the 60s. Let me point that microphone directly at it. We're still at about 62, 63. Not too bad of a difference from the lowest to the highest possible setting. The Sunster app is very good. I'm using it right now. We're about 10 inches away from the unit itself. It's set to level 1, as you can see down here, and the unit is very quiet indeed. You can set all sorts of things with it. Very easy to use. Levels 1 all the way up to 10. Let's put it back down. And you can set a timer as well. We use the timer every day camping. Works beautifully. And you can set other things such as Fahrenheit to Celsius. You can adjust for altitude, language, temperature offset. That has to do with the thermometer setting and the password as well. So just an excellent, very basic app, but it does the job, and it's really nice to be able to monitor and control this from several feet away using your Bluetooth app. So let's switch things up a little bit. As you can see, the ductwork from the diesel heater is going inside my Teardrop trailer. We're going to test out the thermostat setting on this smart remote. This smart remote will now go inside the Teardrop trailer. I will set a temperature that I would like to keep the trailer at, and this will work with the diesel heater, speak with the diesel heater, and shut off when we reach the desired temperature. It will also monitor excess carbon monoxide and shut off if those levels are reached. So let's start by putting this inside the trailer. We'll set the temperature that we want to achieve, and I'll do my best to demonstrate how it works. I've used it before, it works just fine, and I'm going to try and capture it for you today. So first off, let's put this thermostat inside. So what I'm doing here is testing the thermostat. The interior temperature of the trailer is 62.6 degrees, and I have it set for 65 degrees, so it won't take long to get up to that temperature, and the unit should shut itself off. So I'll bring you back when we get up to about 65 degrees, and at 67 degrees it should shut off because I have the 2-degree offset. So I'll bring you back in a few minutes. So actually the temperature is rising fast. We're at 66 degrees, so shortly we should hear the diesel heater shut itself off. That is what has happened in my previous testing anyway. No doubt it's going to happen today. And it is quite convenient to have a thermostat setting. You can just sleep, keep a constant temperature, and know that you have a carbon monoxide detector in there as well with you. Very important to bring that with you. And when you have it on this thermostat setting, it tends to keep itself at level 1, so it is very quiet for sleeping. You cannot hear this inside our little Teardrop trailer at all. Okay, hear that? I had the temperature offset for 2 degrees, but it rose up to almost 70, so we're at 71. I had it set for 65, so not really that accurate, but the point is, it did shut itself off when it reached a certain temperature. So we've had good success with using the thermostat function on the Sunster heater, and I'm sure you would too. I'm going to call the testing of the thermostat unit a success. It did not shut itself off exactly at the temperature I desired, but it did shut itself off, and from my previous testing I know that it will turn itself back on as required. So it's very nice to have a thermostat function. It's really the main reason why I agreed to test this unit out. So we've been using this, it works very well. It also has that timer function, which is very handy to have. You can control the entire unit from this. It's a built-in CO monitor as well. You can control it with the app, with this remote, and also the built-in panel. So there's lots of ways to control this unit, which makes it very convenient indeed. I'm also impressed with the size and portability. It's very lightweight, so that's very nice, and it's also a very quiet unit. Now, I did take some measurements today, and that's very important because in the future I'm working on a video that I'm going to compare 4 different diesel heaters, and I will be comparing fuel consumption, noise and temperature, things like that, so stay tuned for that one. The Sunster is one of those units that I'm going to be comparing. Now, after 2 weeks of testing in the field, I really do like this heater. It's very reasonably priced. I think it's worth checking out. I did have a little bit of trouble setting this up, but with the videos online I was able to figure it out, and it's been working very well since then as a thermostat and just as a general way to control the unit. So yeah, I do like the Sunster diesel heater. So I will be leaving a link to Sunster down below in the description box. If you're in the market for a diesel heater, check them out for pricing in your area. After using this for 2 weeks camping, I have to say I have no complaints with it whatsoever. It's been working flawlessly, and having that thermostat function, well, it really is an important thing for us, and it's been working out well. Stay tuned for that video where I'm going to compare 4 different diesel heaters. That'd be head to head to head to head, I guess, and Sunster will be in that mix. Thanks very much for watching. I do appreciate the time you spend on the channel. Take care, everybody. Bye for now.